Hello, Midwest Gaming Classic 2022!
Yeah!
How's it going out there?
Oh, they are excited out here.
All right, yeah, this is going to be a great day. This is the bonus stage over here at MGC 2022, presented by Hair of the Dogcast and Premium Edition Games. We're going to have panels all day long, so come on out and check them out. And today, boy, we have a treat for our first panel of the day.
Oh, a treat.
That's right. It's the Day 2 Morning Brew with, did you guys come up with nicknames?
I'm Pudpod Don.
Pudpod Don.
And
you're
You need to come up with it.
You're the Wittenslager.
The Wittenslager.
all right, Dylan Hoff from Hair of the Dogcast and Jeffrey Wittenhagen from Premium Edition Games.
Limited run games.
Nah, limited premium editions of runs with strictly
Take it away, gentlemen.
aspects and first pressings.
Okay. Hey man, how you doing?
Oh, it's been a crazy weekend already, and we still got another day to go.
Yeah, I wish we had another after party tonight.
Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah, I got to amazing.
Amazing. That's the rule.
That is the rule. And in traditional Hair of the Dogcast fashion, I do have a hard seltzer blackberry agave.
Yeah.
Here it's by Florida Seltzer, Untitled Art.
You're not hungover, are you, gentlemen?
No, I'm more hungover just from standing on my feet than I do from any kind of nighttime shenanigans that we do.
Well, you have children and a wife. It's a real burden.
No, it's great.
It's perfect.
It's fine.
What was
It's
your favorite band last night?
Oh, of course, Kung Lao and the Scorpions.
I mean, that was fun, but
That is
I
my
really like
favorite.
Lords of the Trident. They ruled.
Well, I missed that one because we were waiting to get our food over here at the Hilton forever. So we missed them.
Yeah, you know what? We went to Doc's Smokehouse, and
That's a great place.
it was interminable. I was sitting there, and I was just asking people if I was in like a purgatory.
Yeah.
And like I was just being tortured because I'm like, I just want it's French fries with pulled pork on it.
Yeah.
It doesn't take that much to. I mean, I understood they were busy. I've worked in the service industry. I don't know about you, but
No.
I
have.
but that's the part that hurt the most. I literally I turned to Kate and I'm just like, is this hell? What am I doing?
Is this hell?
Is this hell? What am I up to? It took way too long.
Okay.
It wasn't rewarding.
See, now I ate a pan-seared salmon at the Chop House.
Did you really?
Yeah, I mean, I have to go to the gluten-free menu, which is why I'm drinking a seltzer, because I have a weird allergy, so I had some salmon.
You know what's funny?
Salmon.
You should really ask me before you go to places.
Chop House was fine. It was good.
Well, no, I just know a few years back they had a rat problem.
Oh, great. Well, I had a lot of tequila there, so I probably killed any kind of
Yeah, that's kind of how it works. Pan-seared salmon with what?
I think it had some kind of ramen noodles, but it was gluten-free ramen noodles.
Ramen?
Yeah, ramen. Like I don't. Ramen. Everybody loves ramen.
Everyone loves ramen.
Deborah.
Let's continue this impression here that we got going on.
I'm not
Sunday
doing
morning.
that. I'm not doing
Come
that.
on, Ray Romano. Let's go.
Oh my God,
Don Romano.
Dude, I'm so hungover. It is kind of ludicrous.
So let's talk about the disheveled look that I saw Don in yesterday night.
Okay.
Over right before Kung Lao and the Scorpions went on.
I'm disheveled all the time. This is not like this is not a new
You were
scenario
doing
for me.
some PDAs last night. Some PDAs.
Oh my God, you are not going to blow me up here.
Come on.
No, my
let's
God,
talk about the PDAs.
She's within the
last
building.
night. Did you have a good time? Did
Yes,
you
I
get
had a
lucky?
great time.
Did you feel lucky punk? Did you?
I always feel lucky punk. It's perfect.
Was it perfect?
Yeah. I said, go ahead, make my day.
You got to give the dirt here at the morning
dirt?
brew.
I'm not doing this to a full crowd of people. I can't blow
so
up their
many
spot.
people.
No.
Was it a good time?
No.
It was
But
a good time. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
don't worry about it.
So you were feeling lucky, punk.
I was, and it was fun. I had a great time. Dancing around? Hell yeah. What was the middle performer? DJ.
Well, I didn't get there. Well, the DJ is that who was playing before Kung Lao?
I liked his music quite a bit.
DJ
actually.
Cutman?
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize this, and I don't know why I'm so stupid. I didn't realize Lords of Trident were a pirate metal band.
Oh, yeah.
Why did I...
Tridents.
I listened to their music. And
You didn't get the pirate aesthetic?
I don't know, man. It kind of blew over my head. It happens sometimes. It's fine, whatever. No, they were absolutely awesome. How many songs did they play? Was it it was 2? They only played two.
They only played a couple songs?
Yeah. Do you know? It was a full hour and a half.
They played almost a dozen songs. They played like
I just have no conception of time anymore.
He was doing PDA things.
PDA things.
Hey, we're making it PG for the crowd today.
We
it's
are,
family
yeah,
day
absolutely.
here at Midwest Gaming Classic.
Yeah, I'm. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's super interesting now. Did you see anything really cool when it came to, because there was a lot of pinballs out there right by the bands. I saw a custom one that I thought was probably the coolest one.
Which one's that?
That was the Sonic Spinball.
Yeah, I saw that
machine.
too.
That was so cool. And they had like a whole Mobius, the actual world. They had it up
with
on
the
top
emeralds?
of the topper. Oh, it was so cool. I was
That's really actually. I think they have that in the main area now, right?
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
Okay.
There's like a whole custom pinball area here.
Well, famously, that's a really bad video game.
Oh, famously bad. It's terrible. Yeah.
It's awful, and I know so many people who defend it. My buddy Matt, he loves Spinball, and he's like, "No, it's good." I'm like, "No, dude. I've shown you good video games. I show you good video games every time you're over at my house." And he's just like, "No, but that's pretty great." I'm like, ugh.
Nostalgia's a heck of a thing.
Well, okay, so I guess I do have a question then. Aladdin on the SNES or Aladdin on the Genesis?
Nice, yeah.
Which one?
Yeah, I love that because, on the Genesis, you got your sword. Where
Yeah.
You actually have an attack, whereas you have to play a little more defensively on the Super Nintendo, throwing your apples.
But which one plays
getting
better?
through.
I think it's the Super Nintendo.
I think the Super Nintendo does play better, but I feel like the Genesis is a little more action-friendly and fun.
It is, but those levels are
A
a
pain.
little hard to navigate.
Yeah,
But
there's a little bit of that. I call that the 16-bit trappings, because if you're playing a game like Booger Man or you're playing another game like Earthworm Jim, there's a lot of spots where you're doing your level. You have to have the levels memorized, the pathways, because there's a lot of false endings and areas where you get
There are a lot of
backed up.
drop-offs in that game, from what I
A lot
remember
of
too.
drop-offs.
Oh, I prefer the Super Nintendo one. I don't mind throwing apples. It's fine.
Yeah.
But it's all about playability for me.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of even the early days of 3D gaming.
Yeah.
They have a lot of it's the trappings of the time. Do you remember when they would announce a new Gran Turismo for any new system, and it looked gorgeous?
It's supposed to be like,
and
that's the standard.
it's like, dude, this is where it is. I don't think people are. I thought about this yesterday actually. I don't think people are as impressed about graphics anymore.
I mean, Elden Ring kind of melted people's minds.
Yes. Have you been playing?
I have been playing.
What are you playing as?
So I played as the big berserker guy with the shield. And and you're not supposed to use the shield guy, and I'm doing
What do you
really
mean?
well.
No, you can use the shield.
I've heard that using the shield guy is a little more challenging than going as one of the more OP ones.
They want to challenge you a little bit.
Yeah.
They want you to kind of run in guns blazing.
Yeah.
I
know I got past the first major boss without finding the item that will crush the boss. So I literally brute forced him by leveling up and fighting other bosses. I have the Sword of Swords.
You mean Margaret's Shackle? Is that?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
We got the peanut.
Come on up. Come on
I can
up.
confirm that the Sword and Shield build is pretty hard.
Yeah.
in Elden Ring.
Margit the Fell Omen.
But I have earned my stripes in this game now because
Have you?
I was able to go through and crush him within 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That's how much I leveled up before I went there. I was just playing it for weekends.
Are you using the bell?
The bell? Are you talking
boy.
about the Belfry spirits?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your favorite spirit?
The most useful spirit is the wolves, of course.
The wolves are a solid staple. I always
It's a
level them
staple.
up pretty much right away.
Yeah. But I have the headless guy,
Oh.
and he's really cool.
Brad, do you remember what he's called?
The headless. Lutel the headless.
Where do you find him?
I
forget.
found him in a crypt somewhere. And then my favorite mask is I got, there's the one crypt you go into and the guys come out of the walls, the little goblins come out of the walls.
Oh, yeah.
And I earned the goblin mask. That's all I wear now. It's not even useful. I just wear the big
the imp head actually is very defensive.
Really?
It's actually one of the better head items in the game.
I love using that one.
It looks awesome. It's the cat version.
Yeah.
It's what it says, cat. This game has been so. I've been taking my time with it.
Me too.
I'm like, okay, this is a slow burn. It's a romance. It's like, I know I'm gonna love this. All the dogcasters besides me, though, they've beaten it, except for Tom.
Handsome
Tom. Did you beat Elden Ring?
Yes, I did.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've only beaten the first boss, but that's literally because of the timing. So my wife was testing. Again, you said wife and daughter. My wife was testing to do her reality exam. Oh. So I actually had the PS5 all to myself for a couple of weeks to play some Elden Ring. She passed her test, and now it's Grand Theft Auto 5 again, all the time on the PS5. So she's over level 300.
She's online?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she only plays online.
She's
She's never played the story mode. She only plays online. She's over level 300. So she takes over the PS5, so now Elden Ring has stepped to the wayside.
Oh, well, you're not playing on the X?
No.
No?
No, just PS5. I don't have an X. I haven't found one yet.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I got Tom actually snagged me one.
Nice.
I would not have found it if not for him. Honestly, thank you. It's great.
You're welcome.
Now
I can play 4K stuff on my 4K television for the first time.
Yay.
I don't know how you played that game on a straight up Xbox One. How did it even run without bursting into flames?
Listen, Pud Pod Don, he's a little ratchet.
Put Don. That's his new Pud Pod Don.
I'm actually going to write that.
Put Don.
We're actually going to put Pud Pod Don on my back.
Don. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
That's
the other
awesome.
one is Scoresman, and I realized later that it's a Howard Stern bit.
Yeah, but you also Scoresman.
Okay.
Now what we'll say though is we got to be honest here too. Is a good problem for me to have is that I am testing a lot of games, for Premium Edition. We have developers that contact us, and so I'm playing games, a lot of new ones, and then I'm the designer. One of the designers, but the main one to QA/QC everything as well for our company. So I'm constantly doing artwork and design as well. So I have very little time to play games. So on the weekends when I do, though, I'm testing new stuff, and they're all great too. Yeah. That's the thing. That's the hard part. Is our main thing is we gotta love our games, and I'm loving everything I'm playing, and I'm all right. So now what can we see that will be a great game to put physically, and then we gotta load them out.
Well, you're an enthusiast.
Yeah.
Is there one? Let's go to the Switch. Okay.
Ooh. What's the? Can't make the noise.
What's popping for you right now on the Switch?
Are you talking about
on the eShop, an indie developer?
Okay, so
is there someone who's really standing out to you? I mean, aside from the stuff you're publishing, but
yeah. So there's stuff like Loren Lemke, who did Super Blood Hockey that we pushed out. He's doing Terror of the Hemosaurus, which looks like Rampage.
Really?
And we're not going to be publishing that one.
Okay.
I don't think that the stars will align, because we kind of call it when we sign a game, the stars are aligning.
Sure.
I don't think the stars are going to align where we're going to sign that one. It will likely get a physical because it's awesome. But that developer is a single developer, and it's so good.
It's good?
Yeah. Oh, it's so fun. So
how much is it on the eShop?
I think it's $15.
I'd pay that. Yeah. I'll probably download that tonight.
You literally, it has physics. So when you're knocking down the buildings, it hits other buildings and crushes into other things. You can kick the cars on the ground into the building.
You can't just abduct women from windows?
I think you could still do that.
Okay.
You could also kick people up in the air and then grab them in your mouth and eat them. And then there's modes where it's challenge. We were playing and I'm I would love to sign this, but I just don't think it's going to work out.
What, the Wittenslager?
The Wittenslager. I'm going to put that right under industry professionals.
Yes. Well, we don't count. Why didn't we get one?
You got to be a professional in the industry.
I am. I'm here and I'm podcasting. I've got a morning show where I talk about nothing.
Yeah, and we're talking about what's popping on the Switch, because it's really difficult because the Switch eShop is so overloaded with talented games, amazing things out there, and
they don't know how to curate it.
Well, and so we'll have developers reach out, and I'm I've been paying attention. I've been writing books on the Switch Collector series,
yeah,
and people are reaching out to us for older games, and I'm I haven't played this. I didn't even know this was out, and it's amazing, and it's stuff that we've signed now. Because we've signed all the way out to 23.
Whoa.
We just announced the 2 games that we're doing this quarter in May.
Yeah.
We got the next quarter, then we're quarters out. So we are absolutely, we have a lot of stuff coming up.
So trying to court you a little bit?
Oh, I mean, some are. Some if we see something awesome out there, we have a Discord where people recommend games, we'll reach out to people.
Sure.
We're playing some really fun. There's Zelda clones out there that are flawless.
Have you played Tunic yet?
Oh, of course. Tunic?
Yes.
Looks so good.
Tunic is really good.
Yeah.
I've been distracting myself with Tunic. Every time I'm like, I cannot do Elden Ring right now. It's basically if I got to stop a little bit and find something new, that's it. It's Tunic.
How do I spell Wittenhagen?
Slager.
How about that?
Yes. Why did you put an umlaut over the G?
Because that's the wrong place to put it.
That's perfect. It's perfect.
An umlaut G. That is not even a thing.
Hey. Come on stage.
Come on,
Come on, buddy.
We're talking about indie developers on the Nintendo Switch and who stands out and how.
We were just talking about your game, actually. Yeah, how much we like it.
Awesome.
And we're coming up with our own names. So I'm the Wittenslager, and I put the umlaut over the G. And then he's...
I'm Pud Pod
Don.
Have you ever... This is Family Day, so I can't explain what putting Pud in the paw is.
Yeah, we can't talk about that. Let's get Jordan a microphone over here so he can come chat. We're talking about stuff, and I want to hear about how the VR set has been going with your game.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us about it.
Because, I know all about the space draft over in the Nintendo zone over on the second floor, but the VR aspect, you told me about that, but we didn't go into depth.
Yeah, I've been doing some 3D modeling stuff. I don't know how far I'm along with it. VR is probably not... I don't have any VR projects in the pipeline, so it's probably not me.
No? No Pud Paw yet.
No, not yet.
Yeah, no Pud in your paw.
But doing more 8-bit stuff. And I've got Project Sword on the horizon, too, which is Batman-like.
That's exactly what we were talking about.
We were playing that,
Project Sword is.
Yeah. We've been working on it all year, so just pulling it out for this weekend and showing it off. We've had nothing but positive feedback from it. It's been really encouraging.
Yeah. You had David Weiss play it, too.
Yes, he did.
You blushed talking about it.
Be still my heart.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's got taste, man.
Talking to David Weiss about how the NES works is definitely one of my highlights of the weekend.
Well, and now think about this craziness. So we talk about the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. So we're gonna call it the 6 degrees of the Wittenslager. And so now Jordan is tied to the Wittenslager.
Yes.
For the classic series that we announced yesterday, who is attached to Mighty Fight Federation, which has ukulele in it, where David Weiss did the music.
Yeah, okay.
Whoa. How many degrees? That's only about 5 degrees. I'm just saying.
Hey,
6 degrees.
Game dev is a small world.
The 6 degrees of, we'll call it the 6 degrees of premium.
It's so crazy because I'm the exact type of person where I meet someone famous. I'm like, oh, I guess. I met Jennifer Aniston once. And I was like, oh, it's you. And she said, yes, it's me.
That does sound like something that old Pud Don would do.
She was kind of impressed.
Came with this.
Do you know who you are? She was impressed with my swagger. I was really oh, it's you.
My swagger.
She was dating John Mayer at the time. She was at Summerfest.
Oh.
So the bar was pretty low.
So she thought you were John Mayer. Okay. It makes sense.
No, yeah, I look exactly like John Mayer.
That's how you got your nickname.
Yeah. Fill out the comment cards. Does Dylan look like John Mayer?
It's right here on the Raw Dogs podcast sticker. You put it right on the back.
What's his big song? It's not You're Beautiful. It's
Your Body is a Wonderland.
Oh,
yes.
Is that what it is?
That's the one. That's the exact one. Yes.
I don't know how I remember that with this type of hangover, but the hair.
Well, he got you halfway there.
Why do you look at me like I'm some idiot?
Because that's how he always looks at you.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't know. He's got it. He's got it pretty good.
So let's talk about what were your inspirations outside of Batman, apparently, with Project Sword as you are going through, because you're doing asset development, right?
Yeah.
So from a graphical perspective.
Well, I'm doing graphic and sound.
Yeah.
So
Why would the musician do sound? I don't know.
That soundtrack is killer. When we were playing it, the first thing I thought was that this could be on any classic Mega Man. It's very good, man.
Yeah, I'm hoping that, I'm putting a lot of energy into the music of that game so that we can hopefully release the soundtrack as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Because now, this is really like my first like pure video game project where it starts as a game idea and it built it up from the ground.
Sure.
My first project, Space Draft, started as kind of an IP that I built up with my friends. So we had a bunch of stuff to draw from.
Yeah.
But this is like everything is fresh, everything is new. So we're just kind of throwing ideas into the pot and stirring it up.
Yeah.
And the game, like you said, it's based kind of on Batman with wall jumping, which is kind of something. That is a game that's underrepresented, I think, or not represented in homebrew currently.
Really?
Correct.
As well as Ninja Gaiden, which is another like action platformer. We've got good platformers in NES homebrew. We've got great platformers.
Well, we do, but not
we don't,
that style.
Yeah, we don't have the twitchy ninja style.
No.
Precision platform.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that
with Ninja Gaiden, if you're not like on point and you don't know the map very well, you're done.
Yeah.
You're over. This has a little more randomness to it, a little more chaos, which is actually good because it increases replayability.
Absolutely. Yeah. One of the things is we were trying to take the play control from Batman and mix it up with the actual play speed of Ninja Gaiden, which that game consists of a lot of one-hit deaths for the enemies, which keeps you kind of flying through the level layouts.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Ninja Gaiden is a speedrunner's dream.
It is.
And Batman is a little slower of a game. It's a little more methodical. You kind of have to plan out your moves before you make them, which is great. Yeah. I love that game. But our target goal was to make a twitchy, fast-paced platformer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So therefore, mixing the two was like the best thing.
And your levels. Is the demo kind of representative of the game itself in terms of like length?
It will be, because we finished our first level, which basically so our first stage consists of 3 sections.
Sure.
Yeah, and we're doing like a 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, and then we're moving on to a next stage after the boss.
Oh, I like that.
Exactly, like Batman. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah.
There's a wonderful Andre the Giant homage.
There is, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
on
did
top
not catch
of
that. That's
so on
awesome.
top of
You didn't face the boss?
No.
Oh, okay.
I did not earn my sticker.
Okay. Well, there's no stickers left.
Well,
That's what we learned when we were there earlier. Well,
how popular it's been.
Yeah.
That's a good problem to have.
Exactly. So between the play control of Batman, the speed, and the kind of empowered swordplay of Ninja Gaiden, we wanted to put like kind of a fantasy theme on top of it, bring in some Castlevania influence visually, because our goal was to try to make like a ninja game in a fantasy setting.
Yeah, and it works very well. It's I didn't touch it. I watched Brad do it.
No,
but
you shill.
I don't know what the I am a shill. It's easy, but what I noticed pretty much right away is how smooth it runs.
Yeah.
What frames? How much do you get on that?
I couldn't tell you what the frame rate
It's
is.
NES frames per second.
It is.
I know it's NES frames per second, but I feel like if I put that on a capture card, it would still run smooth.
It's a pretty smooth game.
Yeah.
The programmer, Nathan, from
Nathan's
Bite the
awesome.
Chili, it does great work. One of his first projects was called Halcyon, not one of his first projects. One of the first projects that I learned about
Halcyon is excellent.
as a home brewer was seeing Frankengraphics work on the visuals of that game. So that drew me into the homebrew community, seeing that game. And he's got a beautiful like 4-way scrolling engine in that game. So Nathan has been programming a long time for the NES. It has a lot of the tricks down. Additionally, with Project Sword, we're targeting a hardware mapper for the NES called GT-ROM, which was developed by our friend Memblers, who was the one in our community who was reverse engineered the NES.
Godfather.
Yeah. He reverse engineered the lockout chip that basically enabled us to start making our own hardware to publish our own cartridges.
Nice.
He is the one who made this all possible.
Yeah.
Really?
And what I like is that you're nesting everything within like how game creation should be done. So you're talking about going from the graphical aesthetics, the scrolling and program pieces, but also the soundtrack on top of it that you're doing, because that's an important piece of every game release when we're looking from it from just having a cool game to play versus a cool game to put in the shelf and in the addles of the library.
Well, to go back to our source inspiration, I mean, Batman, Ninja Gaiden are absolutely remembered for their killer music. Like,
they are,
people that suck at those games, like, oh, I suck at that game, but I love the way it sounds. I love putting it on and just vibing to the first stage track, you know? And that is something that, you know, when I was young, that made a huge impression on me. My first impression was that first level song. That title screen music, you know? And that's part of the experience.
So you loved the Smurfs for the NES?
I have a copy.
Yeah.
I do. That's
an awful soundtrack.
No, I disagree. So let me take you to school for a moment.
Can you hum a little?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you got this.
So you mentioned the Smurfs on NES, which wasn't released in North America.
Yeah.
The Smurfs, it was only released in Europe.
Drum for
No, I'm not talking.
So the Smurfs was.
Vision?
That's possible.
Okay.
So the Smurfs for NES was scored by. Now I'm blanking. Oh boy.
I don't know this one.
You can't.
You're going deep into the add-ons.
No. You can't.
Alberto Rodriguez. No.
Alberto Rodriguez.
No. It's
sounds like the most made-up thing. I love it.
no. He's got.
That's what I call myself at bars.
That's his another nickname now. Don Alberto Rodriguez.
He didn't score any NES games, but he was a European.
Producer?
No, a European composer that did a lot of Game Boy games.
Yeah, that was tough. We actually talked earlier about how I really like Game Boy soundtracks because they're kind of working within those constraints is actually like it's really intense.
I just like how
it's Alberto Gonzalez. I just remembered. Now, Alberto Gonzalez did the Asterix soundtrack from
So I'm
Infogrames
Alberto
and Friends.
Yeah, Asterix, which is another PAL exclusive on the NES.
PAL exclusive.
Asterix, but it
so
does have
let me
US
just say
release
that
on
like the
Switch now.
Smurf soundtrack for the NES is one of my favorite NES
It's actually really good.
soundtracks. Period.
I'm gonna have to look this
It's
up.
the heaviest thing. It's like Alberto Gonzalez came from the C64 scene in Spain.
Oh, sure.
And so he has like this bedroom coder sound that was able to manipulate the sound chip of the NES to make some really thick sounds. Like people talk about Silver Surfer and stuff being a great sounding game, but to me the Smurfs is on that level too.
And I feel like in the homebrew community, FG Software kind of pulls from those addles with his inspiration for his music. So good.
Yeah, the European homebrew scene for the NES is really rooted in the kind of bedroom coder scene of the 80s for platforms like the ZX Spectrum and the C64. So a lot of these musicians have experience using these limited platforms and these limited sound chips as it is.
So I will say though, from my perspective, for what I do, my goal, and this will be the goal to think about for Project Sword, is whenever you create your logo and your branding, something that old Pudpaw here or myself would get tattooed on me. but like if your logo is something that I would tattoo on me, that's a badass logo. And now think about your soundtrack when you're developing it. And I said the A word, my bad.
You're fine. Don't worry about it.
Also, when you're creating your soundtrack, something that would be covered by a band later.
Yeah, totally.
It's classically elevated and can be covered by someone. Because I mean, you're in a band yourself, so you think about it like if somebody can cover that in a different way or get inspiration, then your bases have to be met from a musical capacity.
Totally. Yeah.
Honestly, that main dude, I might do a fan thing of him because he looks so good. You digitized him so well. What's the name of the illustrator again?
Steve Doe.
Okay,
He's a friend of mine.
I might do a fan piece for you.
Yeah. That'd be great. I'm sure Steve would appreciate it too.
Yeah, I'll send it your way.
See, so that's where we go a little deeper, right? When you're doing your creation, if you go with that in mind, then you create things that go to the next level, and it's super cool. And you're at the right level right now in your creation process. You know, like,
just kicking into high gear.
Oh yeah, it's
you know, on top of everything else, this Project Sword was. Because my first project, Space Raft, was made. My target audience was record collectors here in Milwaukee that knew about the music venues and stuff that's featured in the game that I made.
Right on.
But now that I understand the hardware a little better, like I'm really intent on making a game that fans of the NES appreciate. Yeah. Rather than just being like my kind of Venn diagram interest group. Like I want to make something that people that love the NES love to play.
That's actually admirable because there is such a like vocal. It's not a minority, I guess. people who like video games are going to play good video games no
Yeah.
matter what they are.
Yes.
Look at Shovel Knight.
Totally.
But when there are people who want the simplicity back, like not to like downtrod it, but like it is a level of simplicity that people appreciate.
Yeah.
Like I have friends who are like, I can't play these new games,
Totally.
but I can play these older games. And when you make newer versions of these older games, it's actually kind of awesome.
Well, limitation is the mother of all invention.
It's true.
I mean, when you have a box that you can't get out of because you are in a
Yeah.
box, you have to make that box work for you. You have to make it fun. You have to, you have to push the resources of what you're doing as far as you can, given what
to the
you're.
limit.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that there's a real poetry to working with the NES and knowing that it can only do so much and making the best of it. You know? Because
you've only got a certain palette. You've only got a certain.
Yeah.
You can only do so much with the action. You can
Well,
only
and
do so much with
ironically, I've
anything.
actually heard this from the opposite perspective, talking with indie developers on modern consoles, because it's scope. Like
Yes.
you have to then
narrow it down.
narrow it down,
yeah.
and you have to do that in your mind with everything available in Unity or whatever
Exactly.
programming language. You got the world as your oyster.
Exactly.
Now you're going to create false limitations to try to mirror it
Exactly.
versus
Exactly.
you're in the box and you have to do it that
Yeah.
way. You have no choice.
Yep.
That actually makes it cool. And then if it's up-ported or cross-ported, like perfectly one-to-one, you then get to choose how you want that narrative to be. That is
Absolutely.
your developer's narrative. That's great. Same thing with the music chip on the NES.
Absolutely.
The same deal.
Yeah.
So good.
And I think that actually when us as NES developers, now when we see people break what we thought was not possible, that's like, we have these watershed moments that come along like every 2 years. Like, you can't do that. How did you do that? and then we have like a whole new chapter of learning that comes from it because somebody was able to figure something out. I mean, case in point, David Wise asked me yesterday how we got our kick drum samples working while our player was moving. Because if you all notice, like, you don't get kick drum samples in Battletoads unless you hit pause, and those players are not moving.
Really?
Because the NES, when it plays samples, it accidentally gives you controller reads as well. So if you don't figure out anything going on and you're playing samples in the audio channel, your player character will just start jumping around for no reason.
Really?
Yeah.
And Nathan, the developer of the programmer in Project Sword, was messaging me like, "Hey, I put your music in. Why is the game breaking?" I was like, "Oh, we need to check those controller reads 3 times to make sure that they are true."
Okay.
Oh.
And I was here at Midwest Gaming Classic yesterday, explaining that to David Wise. Like, we could have had kick drum in Battletoads if that would have been the case
Somebody
30
would
years
have
ago.
had your mindset with it.
I think.
Well,
I
no,
think,
I only have that mindset because I learned from somebody else who reverse engineered it from the way that Konami figured it out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just like 30 years of knowledge
30 years of
snowballing
knowledge passed down.
forwards
That's so
and
cool.
backwards.
I think maybe that's the most intriguing part about all of this. It's like the medium exists for so long, the literal NES.
Yeah.
And then you have to work within those limitations for so long that you can really pull the entire potential out of it.
Absolutely.
Well,
And
crazy.
I find that really admirable because working within because I illustrate, I do a lot
Absolutely.
of artwork and stuff, and I mainly just do ink drawings. When you have the one thing that you have to do, and you just go hard at it.
Yeah.
You find all these little maneuvers, these
Absolutely.
tricks, these things that kind of like really pull.
Yeah.
Like the entirety of like. There's nothing better that makes me feel good about myself than when I make a drawing and I'm like, oh, I did something.
There it is. You know, I think like limiting your medium kind of encourages mastery.
It does, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because then it puts the blinders on and makes you just focuses you where you need to
Yep.
put your energy
Yeah.
and your attention, you know?
Yeah.
And I think if you're drawing with just ink, your line work is going to get way better.
Oh, yeah.
You
Oh,
know, and you know, all the things that you don't think about when you're shading things with more colors.
Sure.
Now you have to represent that with, you know,
Layering
a
and
black
shadow.
line. Yeah, exactly. Then you
Yeah.
have to, now
Yeah.
your black line goes up, or your black line shadow game goes up because now you have this limitation that you're trying to get
You
around.
level it up like an RPG.
Exactly.
Now the interesting
Like a
piece-
video game, guys.
Yeah, like a
Hey,
video
who here
game.
likes video games?
Yeah.
Couple, maybe one or
and,
two.
And something interesting you mentioned, which is something that I will start doing, is I don't call the scene homebrew anymore.
Yeah.
I call it aftermarket because it's larger than what the licensed NES set was, even all regions at this point.
It's true.
getting to be
I also
almost
think
as
that's
many Famicom. We're getting there.
It is true.
quickly. And so like what you all are doing, you're actually creating and honing in on unique subsets that you've learned through years of coding and passed down knowledge. And it's not just Jordan in his basement creating some cool stuff now, like back in the day. It's now Jordan working with Bite the Chili, working with these other programmers, and taking inspiration from other developers back in the day, creating masterpieces. Like it is.
I also think the term homebrew, it kind of, it's the same way when you say like conspiracy theory. Sometimes there are actual conspiracies. You know what do you know what I mean though? It kind of like delegitimizes the actual like understanding of what that actually is, because when you say homebrew, it's like, yeah, you know, I make IPAs in like my bathtub.
There's a weird distinction with the NES though, because for so many of us that grew up with it, it was an off-limits platform for creativity. Of course. Because we couldn't plug in a cartridge and make music with it. No. We couldn't use it to make art with it. We couldn't use it for anything besides playing games because of that lockout chip. Yeah. And like I said, my man Membler is reverse engineering that lockout chip and learning how to get around it means we can publish our own creations on the platform. And now it's suddenly this platform for creativity that we'd all been inspired by that was off limits to us. Yeah. And so that term homebrew made sense at first because we are
absolutely. It was
doing this as a hobby.
It was the outlaws.
Exactly. When it was kind of like what Jeff's saying, like the Wild West. When it was the Wild West, when you hear homebrew, it sounds fine. But now that you're like legitimate and you're out there, it's got to have a new term because it doesn't roll off the tongue.
Yeah. And we've been talking aftermarket because it's after the market of the NES completed.
Is that like the new? Is that going to be the new term for it?
Well, you know, Seth Abramson mentioned
Ferris was trying to do it, Kristen Dietering was trying to coin it, but then they also are starting to encapsulate things that are not originally programmed in it, which I don't like.
Sure.
Because I like original programming, not like graphical hacks of pre-existing IPs.
It kind of feels like a cheat. Yeah.
The journalist Seth Abramson has been using the term NES 2 as just being generation number 2.
TOO.
Yeah. So it's just like, I mean, this is a continuation of what we, you know.
That's true though, yeah.
Officially stopped getting games in '94 in North America, but you know, games have been released in Asia and in Eastern Europe all through the '90s. And then again, starting here with Homebrew in the early 2000s. So there really has not been a stop to release of software on the console.
And what I would like to see too, because the only issue that NES 2 would create from a branding marketing perspective is if we push it to modern platforms, we wouldn't be able to market that on the Sony PlayStation or the Xbox.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So my thing would be it has to be something that would capture everyone. So when we push it, because so that way they know from just looking at it that the inherent limitations of the NES are there. Because the one thing I saw when Retrotainment pushed Haunted Halloween 86 to the Xbox or Steam, all the reviews were like, oh, this needs to pop better with graphical. They did not get from seeing it that that's a Nintendo Entertainment System game.
What was this, IGN?
No, it was just user ratings in Steam or on Xbox. And I was just like, well, they didn't get it. And so it has to be something like NES 2 might work if we can coin it and be able to market.
Yeah, and I think he was actually pointing more towards the hardware mappers that are coming out
themselves
that are breaking the limitations even further. So his question was, is this a NES anymore if the chips inside the cartridges are so advanced that they're adding graphical capabilities, that they're adding expansion audio, all those things, is this a NES any longer?
Did Lance Armstrong win the Tour de France?
Should we call him Lance 2?
Lance 2, Papa.
I am Lance 2. Prepare to die.
No, but that's 100% right, though, because you're basically Frankensteining the NES to be able to do advanced things. But to the benefit of what you all are doing, did they not add expansion chips on the NES to add enhanced audio?
It's true. I mean, Super Mario 3 does not run on the same hardware that Super Mario 1 does.
And Castlevania 3.
Exactly.
So then it's almost like this. Like Jason and the Argonaut scenario, like where
I love Jason and the Argonauts.
It's so good.
So it's like if. How often do you mod it before it doesn't become the thing anymore?
Yeah.
That's a fair question.
No, it's the ship of Theseus. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But
I was gonna. Who's the golden fleece in this scenario?
Yeah. But I'm kind of like in
And
the.
who's the Medea?
I'm in the
of the
camp-
NES.
I'm absolutely in the camp. Do what you want.
Everything.
But I am in the camp. Do what you want though, because they did add expansion chips to the original NES during the actual heyday. So you should
in
be able
Japan,
to,
yeah.
Yeah, and you should be able to add chips to things on the NES now, and we just happen to be in the year 2022.
Yeah.
Or as I call it, 2020 plus 2.
22 again.
You just don't want to feel old.
That's true.
I mean, you had to stand for 12 hours yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
Well, you guys are sitting now.
Yeah,
He'll whine
that's right.
about it. He'll do it. He'll be like 12 hours. When you're my age.
Old Pudpaw over here.
Pudpaw. Pudpaw Don. All right. Well, I think we're actually towards the end of our thing here.
We appreciate you
It was
coming
so
on
fantastic.
randomly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Walking
Thanks for
through
having me up.
Master Fire.
All right, surprise. Check Jordan out. He's on the second floor. And which hall again?
203B in the video game stage room.
And check out his vinyls. You turn it around, and I looked at his bandmates and everything, and it looked like straight out of a 70s album. Like, you guys look like members of the Eagles.
That's true.
It kind of rules. It looks really. Oh no, you can't tell just by looking at him.
Yeah, I mean, we play the rock and roll music.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The rocks and rolls.
I'm looking forward to listening to more of your stuff.
Right on, man.
Awesome,
Yeah.
dude. All right. Love it.
That's the morning brew with these two.
All right, let's get a picture together.